His form has looked pretty damn good at the past major as well. And yesterday, we didn't, again, as you said, we didn't get to see enough of Flipside, but Markov looked like he was poised to destroy everyone. We saw an insane clutch from him right at the start, but then there weren't many spots where he could really do much. So I'm looking forward to Markov's performance here today.
One thing I don't think I've ever mentioned in all the majors about my GoTV picks is that one thing I think it's important for those of you at home who play the game and you want to learn how to better play a position you like is to look at these teams, look at the player who plays the position that you want to play, and just watch his entire POV, you know, while he's alive, to see the decisions he makes, the risks, etc., and compare it to your own. Obviously the scenario is not the same, but it can help you learn when you're overextending, when you're doing something that's unnecessary. I think people like Zipek, for example, are good to watch, where you might see them jump peek something, but they won't necessarily take the engagement. Even if it serves itself, the information can be enough. If your presence will slow them down, that can allow time for rotation if you're on a CT side, things like that. So GoTV is a really good learning tool, which is one of the reasons why the majors are the best tournaments to watch, in my opinion, among many other reasons. But here we are, finally back into the game. Flipside have won a pistol, and it's now their turn to impose their will onto an opponent. Liquid have half bought in this round. We see some deagles, but nobody's got Kevlar. They're leaving money in the hole.
Yeah, one thing that's really cool about Flipside, and we have to watch out for as well, is the utility usage. Blade has innovated, was one of, I suppose, one of the core innovators of basically tactics on, you know, ironically being called Flipside Tactics, the team that he plays for, but he is a master of that, and we see lots of great pop flashes for him. There's quite a few named after him, one namely into drop, and he's got some great drop take grenades. And on rounds like this, a very, very well routined and tactical team really does shine, and we are seeing right now the approach of this anti-eco / anti-force buy, as Flipside may be unsure as to exactly what Liquid have invested into. It's going to be the A take, and we can see them using all the utility, clearing all the corners, and effectively just isolating any players that could be there, and making it impossible, or as close to impossible, to put damage to be done. And they're on the bomb site, James. Yeah,
Nitro has to concede his position and go through the smoke because he was running out of bullets, and at this time you wonder if Liquid will play for containment. It is suicide for them to go for a retake situation, and again, for those of you at home, considering Liquid's investment in this round, they can either, if they were all to die in this round because they only bought the deagles and didn't buy Kevlar, they could buy deagles again in the next round if they wanted to, and if that was their idea, and they can stay alive, they could buy Kevlar instead and have deagles and Kevlar in the next round, or just continue this round and hope they run into the stack.
And it's teams are getting a bit more cognizant, I think, as well as to the idea of trying to avoid giving away money to the SMGs, as the SMGs, of course, do have a much bigger kill reward bonus, double or more in the case of rifles or pistols. And although they will lose 3 players here, they will save 2. Well, Liquids. And another argument of not investing too heavily into that first round for Liquid is the fact that when you do get that buy round on this map, you need full utility. There is really, I mean, it feels bad, doesn't it, James? You run that CT side, you play the first buy round, you got like a flash and a smoke. That doesn't feel good. You need all the incendiaries.
Yeah, you need your grenades. So I'm glad that they're not really investing in this round and they're focusing on the buy rounds. You've got to prioritize your money.
And the Julies apparently as well, if you're a Waylander.
Yes, indeedy. I like this is a good read though. We see this from Oscar as well, where if they win the pistol, then well, it depends on what side they're on, but basically he has a fair read that there won't be helmets in this round. But yes, Nitro's got a lot of information here because it was a poor spot. Can't do anything with it though. The rotation comes in late for the C2 side, and again, not really working with much. Twist and Zeus making their way towards A. Not quite into the side, but I was going to say, Waylander can be confident with these pistols because he's not expecting helmets in this round. Maybe not even armor.
Oh, nice kill there from Elise. Won't get anything else though. 2 kills, that's okay. That was those Julies remind me of Get Right. They're like the Swedish Julies, the colours of Sweden, and Get Right used to brandish them very often.
Yeah, so Waylander could have bought a Mac 10, for example. But like if you see Oscar on a CT side of Mirage, if they win the pistol, but the opponent plants the bomb, then there's a reasonable chance he will just face mid with a USP, because he doesn't want to waste money, because in that case it is a waste, especially when you're buying a sniper on an SMG when a USP will do the job. But we can talk more about that in the next match. 3-0, it's buy time for Team Liquid. JDM on the AWP. They've got a fair amount of grenades because they did not splash all the cash. We see C's now, he'll be keeping an eye on the drop area, harassing now, while Markelov is looking for an opening around B.
And we can see so far Liquid are being as conservative as they can be with the utility, but it's still, again, this is why you need so much money, because he does... Oh, that's a good pick from World at it. But yeah, the utility does run low quite fast on the CT side, and with a pick like that from Flipside, they have so much time to work with as well, and now with drop control, they've got so many options. For Liquid, this starts to get very desperate. They're already in this situation where they should probably try to gamble, try to hold on and onto one side, stack it, and they have stacked towards B. However, with that kill, maybe there's time now that the connector area is opened up to get onto rotation and to work something together on this round. And JDM does have the AWP, and right now he is actually going to be the solo man on B. So it's a good setup actually from Liquid after all is said and done.
Yeah, C's job in that situation was to die. Let's just note that. If he gets a kill, probably a bonus at that point. But he's playing for information. But it is a very slow move in reaction to that from Flipside Tactics. And there's almost 3 people on the A bomb site now. Twist playing around the pump. He's got a lot to do here. That's a great second kill from him, but he can't get the third. In the meantime, ELEAGUE's managed to get onto the site, and there's a kill onto Blade. JDM is slowly coming towards the door now, and World at its position is known, so JDM may just go through that smoke. Although he's still behind it for now. Not going to take any risks. There goes ELEAGUE. Well, they're looking for the trade fragger, but JDM has been posted for a while and delivers the final kill. An expensive round, and an expensive first round for Liquid, but they're on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it gets really scary now. The potential to be reset is really real here, because, of course, again, we emphasize how important the money is. And so... there's a lot of approaches that Flipside could go with, and it does come down to the mind games, because they could try to go for a super fast play through onto the B site, saying, hey, Liquid aren't going to have the full amount of utility, so they're going to want to be conservative, so we can get through B choke points really quickly and not suffer against utility. And it may be the case, actually. They're moving quite quickly towards plateau, a lot of the players here, but it looks like they may actually wait out an initial burst of utility, maybe bait it out from Liquid before then re-executing into the site. Oh no, you can just also run through a smoke, James.
See how it works out for them, looking to break just as Misfits were doing yesterday. Shock and awe perhaps. ELEAGUE though is a very dangerous player, looking for his third kill, but JDM will steal it. ELEAGUE on 9 HP, down to the pistol, but he hears the footsteps. He doesn't have a chance to reload in this situation. He's got to be there to trade frag, worst case scenario for his teammates, but he is looking for the meat. He is the alligator, but are his teeth sharp enough? Well did it, last man standing. 1 versus 2, this is doable for him. ELEAGUE is trying to be nuisance as much as possible. Only so much he could do though. But the bomb is not with World at it. He can back off and try and reset the situation, but he will have to return.
For those of you wondering why ELEAGUE had the pistol out, he can't really risk a reload in that position, knowing his enemy is right above him, as World at it would hear it and just pop out and kill him anyway. So fancied his chances with the USP, but look where it's left Nitro alone. Nitro, however, does have control of the bomb, and that is really the key advantage that he possesses in this situation. One of it needs to be good on the shots here. Whiffs the first one, gives away his position. 1 versus 1, and Nitro is going to take it. That's a very, very big round from Liquid. They will avoid the reset, and in doing so, it is in fact Flipside's money which is now in trouble, and they will not be able to have a full buy round to pressure Liquid off of their economy.
Yeah, this is a do we force buy round from Flipside? Well, it's a question. I don't know if they're the kind of team who would be inclined to do it though. So let's see. No, it'll be the Pistols. They're playing the long game. It's still early days at present. Round number 6 here at the first match of today.
That's a nice one, I think. I think you're right. There's not a bad decision there, but I like the consistent choice, the long-term choice.
Yeah,
I think it's very important to recognize it.
Yeah, it was curious watching World at it AWPing on the T side of Cobblestone, because he isn't the most aggressive AWPer if you look at other snipers on other teams. So I'm curious to see how Blade will utilize him in this half. But again, for now, they're on the pistols. Nitro has spotted a player towards a long, but only the one. They don't know that 4 people are here, although JDM has seen somebody lower as well. Quickly make their way past the door, so I think they can assume that there are 3 players now towards the A site for the time being. You see again, ELEAGUE in that small screen. He's in that forward position on plateau. So he's got fair warning for them.
Ooh. Off the boost as well, off the Blade's head. That's beautiful stuff there, but can they make it work? Zeus with a cheeky frag off the CZ will eventually get traded down. If we consider the investment, Flipside have done immense damage and even have a chance to win the round. The Eagle needed to connect. It does not, and with that, the chances to win the round will be dashed. But the damage that they did was pretty enormous, and that was honestly their most realistic objective, was to get some damage in. And they achieved that objective, and that really puts them in a fantastic position where Liquid's economy is really heavily stretched.
The second shot as well. An important note that ELEAGUE was just biding his time on plateau. For people at home, you don't necessarily need to flank until you see someone, because it's important he just contains the area. He's kind of holding part of the net, so if he goes down, he needs to make sure his team is still best placed to abuse the information they have. Anyway, flip side, great damage for an eco round. I don't know if any of them had Kevlar in that round, but here we are, back on the rifles. They've got a fair amount of grenades as well. So it looks like there'll be pop flashes. Smoke grenade into danger to stop the CTs from having a crossfire. And Blade will quickly go out. He's the information man. Again, it may be that he goes to die eventually. He can try an entry because it will make his life easier to move the rest of the pieces across the chessboard later on. Again, JDM's got the angle down plateau, which leaves Liquid with lots of people in A. This is a common theme that we've seen from Liquid so far.
That's not looking too bad for them. I mean, they will give up drop zone, but they have all the info, especially with this flank coming in. But ooh, that's the bomb as well, and all of a sudden things get a bit awkward. They have to double back through. Dragon's actually can Zeus get another. He gets a dink. That's actually pretty damn huge. They are at a man disadvantage flip side, and they do have now one of their members critically low. They're going to go back for the B play. I don't know how they got the kill there on ELEAGUE. They will though, but JDM is holding it down, and then once again rerouted back. JDM hitting shot after shot after shot, and that is now Liquid in a brilliant position. Once again, they do lose members, but there's no money here for Flipside.
That flank was massive. Where did that come from? I looked at the radar and suddenly I saw Zeus coming up these stairs. I was like, hold on a second. Not only has he flanked them almost immediately, but he's running straight at the bomb. But there must have been a sound cue. I wasn't paying attention to where he was on the radar before that. So he must have heard them running away. Because also Flipside had a player pushed up the middle ramp. So he just pushed out long and then dropped down silently. So that took everyone by surprise, James, apart from Zeus. So that's massive. You can see how flustered they were at the end there as well. But that said, the Deagle's doing damage once again, and Liquid need to be incredibly cautious now from this perspective, just due to the fact that there is a numbers advantage now for Flipside. There are 2 Deagles in the mix, and an M4 picked up as well by Blade. That was a huge play from Zeus, so bear in mind when you look at his performances in these matches, they definitely go beyond the scoreboard. Waylander this time. See, maybe this will make Flipside leave somebody over to one site more when they head towards the other. This is essentially an eco round for them, so we can only take so much out of this. But here we go. ELEAGUE is looking hungry for information. I think he's pop flashed himself into the lower area while this action is going in towards B, but they're already down to 4 men. What are they willing to do with this? Twisted B taken out meanwhile, and JDM must deliver again.
Started off well with the second shot. He's going to be wrapped as we speak though, and that will be the end of him. But did he do enough damage? There's multiple players incredibly weak here for Flipside. There's no Kevlar apart from on Markelov, who's also very weak. Nitro, he can absolutely do this. They have to cross for the bomb plant, and he knows it. He's going to try to make his way around. See if he can hear any sound cues, any bit of information to make this clutch easier. But these rounds for Liquid, so many of them have been so incredibly hard and laborious, and they never should be. Nitro can't do it this time. Every other time they did it, but all of a sudden Flipside are going to be able to capitalize upon the immense damage that they did in the previous 4 rounds that Liquid won.
What an angle.
How are they winning these rounds, James? I mean, this should not be happening. Liquid are going to be feeling awful about that. Again, a headshot on the second bullet as well from Well-Dead-It. I don't know how Twist only does 88 damage there. It's unfortunate for him, but there we go. As you said, Dan, the damage that they've inflicted in all the previous rounds puts Liquid in a sticky situation. They've chosen to force their way out of it.
Will they be successful though? That might be up to Flipside Tactics, unless Zeus has another genius flank in mind. Waylander will be alone, keeping an eye on the A site. Nitro and Zeus are looking aggressive over there. Seized, just making sure there's no boost coming in through that smoke, but backing off just in case. Often when there are smokes up there, at least on my computer, like I find if I spray through the smoke in the corner where people would appear, then you kind of get this weird graphic glitch and it shows you the outline of the arch or whatever. If anyone else has that, feel free to send me a tweet. I'm curious to know. 4 people for Liquid here on the B bomb side. They've made the right read, but the push isn't here just yet from Flipside.
Yeah, they're trying to bait out any possible utility that Liquid may have in this round, and they could have actually held on to a little bit, but it's not going to help them too much. It's going to be up to the Pistols, and it seems like the Pistols are quite good in this game so far. Off to a good start, they have the man advantage, guns collected now, but can they capitalize, can they close? So far so good here for Liquid. Well did it, last man standing, AK in hand, 40 seconds to try to work this. He does not have the bomb on his back at the moment, he needs to collect it up the stairs if he wants it, but again, looking for any peaks here, but Liquid playing it with discipline, trying to play off of one another, looking for those crossfires. It's Twist for first contact, he goes down. So weak as well, doesn't it? But at least cannot get that bullet off. And that's going to be the round for Flipside. Every round, James, it doesn't matter what the buy is, goes down to the last man.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate for ELEAGUE that he didn't manage to land his jump on the first try, and I do wonder if the failed jump gave his position away as well, because he had to jump twice. So maybe, because well that it didn't know where he was, so maybe the landing impact conceded his position. If so, maybe that loses him the round. I don't know. It wasn't ideal for him in any way, but here we are. The force buy has failed for Team Liquid. The odd pistol will be purchased in this round, but looks like Flipside may extend their lead. They've got a good read on the C2 economy. Flipside Seized has pulled out the MAC-10, so he may be the expendable player in this situation. Again, you might think, why doesn't like Blade have the MAC-10 and let Seized go with the AK? But Seized is the man who deals with the drop area, so I think it's better that they play their correct positions and you have him on a MAC-10 rather than messing things around too much. Yeah,
there's a lot of mind games between players who attack certain positions and players that defend certain positions, and you get all the information as the match goes on. It's a really big deal, so I like the point you make there. And it's really funny because in this game so far, if we discount the pistol round, there has not been a round except one where there was 3 or more players surviving. And there was one round where there was 3 players surviving. Every other round so far, the team that won that round had 2 players alive at best, which is kind of insane. No one has economy in this game so far. And we will see Flipside slowly trying to hunt down the remainder of Liquid as that bomb does tick away closer and closer to detonation. Well, that's a nice frag from Twist. He might actually be able to... Oh, looks like he's not going to go for the gun, looking for the next frag. Obviously, in these kinds of situations, it can be really awesome if you can get an exit kill and then steal the gun and then save it. That's often one of your objectives, but not to be for Liquid. It's 6-4 the score for Flipside Tactics on the T side at the moment. It's a hard game to talk about, James, because it feels kind of like... so many rounds have been so close that it feels like neither team has ever had any comfort or really any momentum.
It's rough, Dan. It's rough like elephant skin. 4 rounds on the board already, though, for Liquid. They can make a reasonable half out of this yet. And this will be an important round to start with. They've got a lot of flashbangs and a few smoke grenades left after what they've deployed. ELEAGUE getting an early pick on the platform. Not sure if it was through the smoke or not, but if it wasn't through the smoke, he may have seen a number of players there. And looking at the radar, we've got 4 players in B for Team Liquid, so I'm assuming that ELEAGUE saw some of these boys.
Almost all the nades are gone for Liquid. The question is, will Flipside pull the trigger on this push? Looks like they'll go drop again with the bomb. 3 players down there. Light offense on the plateau. Happy to give it to Liquid as they start to expand their presence onto the site here, pushing out of the drop area. And it's a couple kills for them. 3 versus 3 now. Smoke's still up. You can see JDM playing around the corner with that one. Twist still on the bomb site there as well, or rather on the plateau, looking over onto the bomb site. So right now it gets really weird because I love this from Flipside. They're just holding ground. They're just holding position. In comes JDM for the surprise attack, but it's going to be down to Twist now in the 1 versus 2.
Blade still has the bomb. I think he has got to throw it to weld at it. he's trying to do that, but he collected it again. Okay, that has not been heard by Twist, but he'll see now on the radar that the bomb is no longer there, so he knows what's going on, but doesn't know where well that it is, and well that it is running to the A site. Twist has to make a decision. He chooses to flash the plateau and then make his way towards A. And he has a nice angle on the cross. Well that it has full health though, so Twist has to be amazing. Well that it's looking for it though, he's giving up the opportunity, and the spray is there. I mean, it's fair enough. He had a good chance to get that kill, but he also gave Twist the opportunity, and he seized upon it. Yeah, that's a really interesting spot there. Of course, you know, there's so many spots like that in Counter-Strike where you're thinking to yourself, do I go for the sure thing, which is the bomb plant? Okay, I'm not going to win the round guaranteed, but I'll create another situation which would be favorable. Because as you say, like, he was walking, he was looking for the peak with the AWP. I'll tell you what happened there, especially judging by Well-That-It's face. Twist ducked as soon as he saw Well-That-It, and I'm pretty sure Well-That-It shot Twist above his head because Twist ducked. I think Twist pressing crouch wins him the round there. Sounds like a very marginal situation, James. Sounds like Counter-Strike thing. Because I was thinking, like, Twist is standing there for so long, how is he not dead? It's the crouch. Well, JDM is dead, and that's Plateau taken over, and this has been essentially a fort for Liquid so far. They've been really good at holding Plateau. That's one of the reasons why ELEAGUE is so good to watch. Very, very strong in that position. Out goes Zeus, though, spots the bulk of the Flipside players that remain after Markov died on his valiant effort on B. But it's all about A now for Flipside, and two of the remaining three players for Liquid are going to try to put a defense up, but I don't know how successful this can possibly be, James. Look at all this utility. Look at this. 4 players versus 2 on the A bomb site. ELEAGUE is still on the way, and his arrival may be delayed. Several grenades here for the T side, just guns, but it's the CT ones which are firing off. Twist, there is a flashlight there, looks like he won't get the kill. Nitro completely exposed versus Blade's head, and Blade will win the day now. It's ELEAGUE versus 2. StarCraft aim, can't quite kill not Markelov, well did it, and there he is with the CZ to finish things off. 7-5 in favour of Flipside. I was pretty scared in that position for Flipside. ELEAGUE with an AK and a 1v2. Definitely like his chances in that, but awkward engagement for him. And credit to Flipside opening up the A side of the map, as well as trying to use Markelov as best they could to harass towards B. And this is something that Markelov can continue to do now, and this is one of the reasons why this can be kind of a difficult map to play, because Markelov can do that, and it can be a B play. Markelov can do that, and it can be an A play. Like, it can be very obscure as to what you're actually doing on the T side from the CT's perspective. It was really unfortunate there on the A side, because I think ELEAGUE threw a flash, but I think it was Twist who came up just a tad too soon and got blinded by it. 7-5. Situation sucks for Liquid. ELEAGUE is on a scout, playing around the statue position. Meanwhile, JDM is over towards A long with Zeus, playing close range with the pistols. If you're wondering why JDM doesn't have to scout right now, that would be why. Flipside with a big focus on the B bomb site, but they have no presence whatsoever towards A. You've seen these flanks from Zeus before, so that may spur Flipside on to start moving quickly towards B. But they're being careful, they're being meticulous. Yeah, they've been really good at taking drop over, and again, it's just such a strength of Flipside. Their map control can be very good. Let's see, sort of toy and play, but it's going to be him that is the plaything. ELEAGUE and Twist doing a good job so far. No one is dead yet. The CZs. I suppose it's just desserts. I suppose, it's only fitting that Flipside receive a taste of their own medicine, losing to the pistols. And that will get the 6th round on the board for Liquid, but they are still behind one. And there's actually no money in the bank from Flipside. I don't know why I sound surprised. No one has had any money in this game. In the words of the French, c'est quoi ça? That's a nice shot. That headshot. Yeah, it was. It's weirdly difficult to get headshots like with the scout, just generally speaking. I guess because when you're using an AWP, you don't aim for a headshot, whereas a scout, that you kind of have to in buy rounds. Love me some scout. The only one I respect though is the water, and maybe there's blood in the water of this round. Flipside don't have much to offer right now, but again, Liquid 4 rounds early on 6 now. While it's been difficult, they can still make a good half out of this. I think 6 rounds is already quite reasonable, but they could even do 2 better. Lots of fun being made by Flipside. I really can't see them getting much of anything out of this, apart from holes in chests Indeed, they have been Swiss cheesed up.
This is a really interesting game so far. I like that we have a pretty close scoreline. You know, both teams will be able to show off their games like in the full capacity against something that, as you highlighted, was sort of denied to Flipside yesterday when they were up against Misfits. But here, not the case. Double up Nitro and JDM should be fun. A quick mix-up for the last round of the first half as far as the CT defense goes, but as far as the T offense goes from Flipside, let's see if they try to mix things up or if they'll really even get the opportunity. Nitro is forced back here by Spam, but he is brave and he'll get the headshot. He will be traded, but I respect that effort. He picked up the kill.
I think he was shot down to 1 HP. That is brutal stuff, but he still delivered the kill, man. He died on his sword.
That was confident.
I respect that. I respect that.
I love how he peeked back into all of the bullets and just, like, they're just so confident.
It's like The Last Samurai. Tom Cruise, of course. Why not?
Yep.
When they're all running at the Gatling gun.
Yeah. That part of the movie seemed a bit silly, but I understand what they're going for.
Not the fact that Tom Cruise was The Last Samurai.
well, obviously, yeah. Obviously that.
Blade and Waylander making their way through A-Lung with the bomb. Meanwhile, Markloff and Seized are on the other side, so we've got 2 per site. So I do wonder what the plan is here. It seems Blade is rotating away, but Twist is close enough to hear this. ELEAGUE keeping a focus on the drop zone. They may already realize that it's a fake, but now Blade's going back towards A-Long, so I'm really confused as to what's going on. Smokes on Plateau B. Is it a double fake, or did it just change mind mid-round? Maybe it was the right call. ELEAGUE wondering what's going on around the drop. Twist and Zeus still around the underpass area. Twist with the pre-fire there, but doesn't get the second kill. Markle off the trade.
Yeah, nice off angles there from Twist. We'll give them a really fair warning here as to the push. And right now it's really hard to get up onto this A-bomb site. They're losing members left, right and centre, but Waylander will start to alleviate the issues now with a couple kills of his own. And it's up to JDM here. 1v2 clutch with the AWP, not the easiest task ever. JDM, what do you have here for Liquid? Now so many positions to check, you just have to try to be committed here. You got to make a guess and you got to stick to it. You can't check everything. That is the nature of clutches in these positions. JDM looking for the quick scope. He gets it onto Waylander. The headshot, in fact. Just one more. It's Markloff with the AK. Lying away on the side. JDM knows he can't quite connect the shot. So close. And it will be Flipside to take the final round of the first half.
Ding, ding. Okay, 21 HP. Boom. That's such a difficult shot.
Yeah.
That's really, really difficult stuff.
He was committed, man. He was so committed to that.
Yeah. Zeus's kill in his position looked like he was on 90 ping because he was slowly tracking behind the player, but eventually got there. So here we are, 8-7. Flipside take a thin lead into the second half. Lots to play for. Do you have a favourite at this point?
I still favour Liquid. I mean, I went with them for my predictions. And the thing with those predictions is that we don't know 100%. Dude, Nitro's keyboard is just so awesome.
So there was discussion on Tinterweb that he has a widely available keyboard but has changed the keycaps to clear ones.
That's really cool. I have to get on the clear keycaps.
I have no confirmation.
But yeah, to finish the thought, Liquids for me are definitely still the favourites. Now they move into the T side, of course, and they honestly, Liquid got a lot of rounds for their CT side. They're going to be feeling very comfortable here if they're able to do as Flipside did, get off to a good start with a T pistol victory. I'm massively favouring Liquid's ability. I think Flipside had to have a massive T half.
Twist is flying through this map, delivering one headshot. Can he find a second one? Blade is in trouble, and there are 3 Ts now. How does he win that situation? He doesn't. He goes down. Markloff, Waylander, all getting jettisoned into the side. 4 versus 2, very quickly indeed. Well, that it has much to do, and now he's on his own. It's lonely, it's cold. He's got 3 players who want to bully him in the playground, and they'll do exactly that. 8-8.
So there it is, Liquid able to win the T-pistol, and that means that both teams have won a pistol round, and it does mean as well that we get to see Liquids on that good economy, and I wonder if the game will start to look cleaner, because obviously the first half was very messy from both teams. We had a position where, you know, Liquid didn't quite never really got an economy rolling, and even though they were winning rounds, even though they were playing anti-ecos, always going down to 2 men surviving. Same thing for Flipside. So can Liquid make the difference there? That's the improvement I'm looking for. They know they'll be up against Not necessarily a force buy, but pistols and maybe some nades. So let's see what kind of drills and routines that they have prepared for such a situation. And it's a typical start here, just trying to make sure that they're safe against what Flipside may try to do aggressively at the start of the round before they then decide, okay, they're not giving us anything, it's time for us to start our game plan here in this round.
Flipside tactics are carrying 2 smokes. We spoke about smokes yesterday. Don't need to repeat myself. But we'll keep an eye on when those come into play. Waylander and Markeloff, maybe if you're on GoTV, you can keep an eye on those. There's the first one. Instant reaction smoke. And that gives Liquid an idea of what the CTs might have in mind, but there's great presence offline from JDM, spraying through the smoke in case the CTs try to get into position behind it. Very good play from him.
Yeah, that's really big. And with that kill, it's like, okay, we just understand, okay, they use that smoke to make the play. We got the kill. It's kind of unlikely there would be a second player there, but just in having the kill, their confidence is going to go up. The re-smoke here, that will allow them to easily deal with it. You can see Zeus is checking the corner there. We've seen so many embarrassing situations when a team pushes through and you can't check left and right at the same time, and the player in that corner will get the better of you, but looks like GT will clear it. He's also cleared the stairs. And now they've got a good vantage point onto the bomb site. The smoke will start to dissipate, allowing the rest of the teammates of the Team Liquid to get in onto the action, and looking pretty clean so far. In fact, it will be completely clean. And that is nice, considering the first half. This is a breath of fresh air.
Marvelous. Now, if you saw JDM creeping through the corner of that smoke, that just shows how important the pre-fire is through the smoke, as I think it was Waylander was trying to get into position, because as Dan mentioned, he eliminates that position. If he doesn't get that kill and they commit to the B bomb site and that second smoke goes down by Flipside, Waylander almost guaranteed a kill in that situation, although JDM may not creep through the smoke. Maybe he does, but there's a fair chance they lose round at that point. So presence of mind going a long way with that kill through the smoke. Flipside on pistols once again. 4-man stack towards the B bomb site. Blade looking towards A, trying to find out what's going on, but they don't have any smokes, any muck to play around. They will be sacrificed.
And it's kind of the coin flip situation. Again, Flipside, like this is what you need to have if you're a team trying to play at any level really. You'd never want to have just one good anti-eco round. You know, we see Liquid have the passive approach, then they have a B hit. They've got a passive approach, now they have an A hit. And we saw that Flipside stack the B bomb site, trying to gamble, trying to, you know, go for the coin flip. Is it A or is it B in this situation? And it was A, unfortunately, for them. But that said, it's unlikely they would have been able to do too much. Perhaps they only would have just served to give money to Team Liquid as they would be getting the kills. But, and this can work out kind of well sometimes, because sure, you're at the wrong bomb site, but now you can sort of play for exits in sneaky positions potentially with quite a lot of players. So, ooh, what's going on here?
I respect that.
That is awesome.
Zeus is having a good time. And he can do that because he doesn't have anything to lose. He's just running around with armor and a CZ, so he can run around and try and knife people through the smoke. It's fine, but it's good. It's good that he's playing with confidence considering the position he's been put in, so that is important. And I think that's great morale for the team. If there's a player there and he's seeing Zeus run around in the smoke, just trying to knife people, that's awesome.
It looks like generally a confident guy, that's for sure. He's got that air of confidence about him, which is good because he's in the leadership position, isn't he? So I suppose that is fitting.
If Bardolph's in the smoke of a knife, Bardolph gets a kill every single time. Look at those eyes, man. Those eyes are beautiful, Dan. Hashtag beautiful eyes. 10-8, 2-round lead for Team Liquid. 5 AKs on the T side for the time being. Maybe there will be an opportunist collection of a sniper rifle should they win this round. C's on the MP9 around the drop zone. That fast fire rate may come in handy.
So Liquid looking to perhaps run some sort of a fake here with the presence towards Plateau, and if they get a kill or two, they will pull rotation potentially, as there is 4 members towards the, well, I mean, there's already 4 members towards the B-bomb site, but maybe they'll pull them back now as well, and it starts to look in towards the A site, and maybe that means that Liquid didn't do enough pressure towards B. Perhaps they should have committed a player through for an attack, but the case will be that it's a 4v4 now that at least picks up the kill, and Flipside don't look as though they're any the wiser. They're still playing a very spread out setup. He is very vulnerable, and Nitro's coming up quick. He might have an angle, just barely misses it, but we'll keep pushing forward as well. At great risk. Nice shot onto Nitro, but there's the trade, and now the bomb site is in the property of Liquid.
Molotov's landing. CTs have got to back off. Don't want any sound cues given away by getting tagged by accident. Will they try to force their way? Look how fresh these smoke grenades are. That may just shut down their round, but it is still a 3-on-3, so they may sacrifice one player, but if Seeds goes down, will that be time for Nico? Waylander's made his way out of the smoke, in the meantime he's on the ramp. Seeds down to 15 HP. Waylander can run distraction now, but JDM still making it awkward. All the CTs getting the kills. That was not an easy retake, but they succeed with all 3 players intact.
Yeah, that's one of those spots, isn't it, where you have 3 separate 1v1s, which, as you say, like it's not very, like that's a really ideal scenario for the ZTs in such a disadvantageous position, because when you're defending a bomb site, it's crossfires. You're creating 2v1s, you're shutting down choke points to funnel the CTs, so you can use the numbers to get an advantage. But they managed to get a series of 1v1s and they won all of them, which is pretty impressive. And that is very needed, because that also means that they have 3 players surviving with guns. They pick up a couple AKs as well, and that's going to really be a nice boon for their economy moving forwards. That said, having to spend all the money on the grenades is a brutal reality of the CT side, and it's very expensive. And they are very low now on money anyway. JDM looking for a passive pick early into the round. Not much given to him though. You can't expect too much really from the aggression standpoint when it comes to a CT side on Cobblestone.
2-man peek from Liquid. Always nice. Teamwork makes the dream work. Wayland's keeping an eye on things. Ooh. This is curious, but can they do it? You got to make sure you're not too close to the wall there, because there's a lip which will trap you if you try to jump up and you're too close. ELEAGUE looking for something. This won't be easy for Seized to deal with.
And it's like he's given his position away. It's only ELEAGUE coming in for the frag. That is so insanely confident from ELEAGUE. Like, oh, you're there, are you? I'll just run up there and kill you. Simple as that. And that's going to be the team pulling the trigger onto the bomb site now as they start to push in. The trades will be there, but with ELEAGUE's kill, they will have the numbers advantage. Markloff trying to hold the line, but Twist with it there with the instant headshot. Does get dinked himself, but the power of the AKs reigns supreme once again as Twist gets more damage done. And it's up to Wilder to try to just keep the orb in his hands, as we'll have a bunch of hungry Liquid players perhaps on the hunt momentarily. But I mean, they don't have the best money in the world, so they might not really be, they might be quite content to allow Wilder to escape. But looks like they have sent ELEAGUE on a mission. ELEAGUE might miss Wilder though. He's going to perhaps even wrap back into a pick onto the A side. Spotting some info. He's been spotted and he will be fragged, so that's not a good look for him.
He's got ketchup on his shirt there. Ketchup on his shirt.
Maybe he should have worn a bib.
Tree position. Oh, got to be careful not to take out your teammate as well. So 11-9 is the current score. Flipside are taking a tactical timeout at present. Their money sucks. There's some communication across the team.
They look frustrated, James, at the moment, but also decisive, and that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, well, that it was doing some talking at the beginning. Now it's a lot of Blade and a bit of Markelov. Can they right the shipload? It's not sinking just yet, but the Coast Guard has been called. Still lots of talking on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, they can. This is a good round to do it. This is like existence style, right? They're going to lose this round. I mean, we did see a USP round one yesterday, but Liquid have looked solid on rounds such as this today, and I expect that to continue.
It's actually crazy because that 1-3v3 after plant situation, which you would expect Liquid to win, it's one of those spots where you never want to lose a round, but it's that spot too where, okay, you did lose a round and then you immediately win one back and completely reset the economy. And from a long-term perspective, an implied rounds perspective, you get more situations where you have advantage, and that is more situations to build more money. And so it actually works out long term generally better, but again, you never want to play to lose a round. So it's sort of one of those things where, hey, you know, this is an opportunity for us. Although we weren't looking to lose a round, there is a potential here for us to really do a lot of damage still. And that's where Liquid find themselves, and that is also what is frustrating for the flip side, being in this position, because that you know that you lose momentum, you have to give away rounds to your opponents, they'll generate more confidence, more money, and we're getting towards the end of this map, and it's a best of one. This is an incredibly important match for both teams. And I have to say, Flipside have impressed me today. But the T side of Liquid, we're seeing great confidence from the likes of ELEAGUE and Nitro. And that is a very good sign if you are a fan of the Team Liquid side. Waylander has stolen away an AK-47, but in comes the cavalry to try to reclaim that.
That's awkward.
The bailiffs are coming, James.
I wonder if what the American term for a bailiff is.
Yeah, I just think about that. I have no idea.
Repo man.
Is it? Bailiff sounds much more scary actually, because it sounds much more.
There was a wrestler called Repo Man once back in the day.
Because that kind of sounds like a budget superhero, doesn't it? Repo Man.
Repo Man.
Coming to take all your goods because you're bankrupt.
JDM's got a superhero chin. He could be Repo Man.
Let's go Bailiff. Much more. I think it's more eloquent.
12-9 when Flipside return to a buy round. No sniper rifle for them. That's important on the CT side of Cobblestone. Instead, well, then it has a M4 and a smoke grenade. Everyone has a smoke. That's quite important for the CT side. And again, it seems Liquid have a big focus on the B bomb site. They've got no lurkers. It looks like it's going to be a fast one. They're going straight for the smoke away up front. Only good for the one kill, blind for the second one. He will be traded by a twist. Markelov around the statue position. But what can he do? He's hiding behind pop past that.
Yeah, that is a devious tactic, isn't it? Very cunning, very sly, but how long can Markelov survive? As now he tries to work the FAMAS, but against the AK, it just pales in comparison. A 3v2 here now for Liquid with presence on the bomb site and a bomb to be planted. They have the space to do so, but they're going to hold their ground a little bit. There's a lot to be said for having all the time in the world and trying to say, you know what, we're going to just get even better positions. We're going to wait to see if the CTs do something. We've got 3 players with guns out looking for those frags. Now finally though, as Flipside have said, look, we're not going to push until you plant the bomb. Liquid are forced to do so. So good decision making backwards and forwards from either side. Now as the 3v2 retake is the reality for Flipside, and it's not a reality they favor, and they will back away, which is the sensible thing here, but a hard pill to swallow.
Back that ass up. That's what DDK says in the club.
Is it though, James?
I don't know.
I've never seen you in a club.
I have no idea, no.
So I don't know if you have spies following me around or exactly where you're getting this information, but it seems questionable, much like your protractor habits.
Liquid, they're making a good run to winning this. There's only been one round won on the flip side in this half. They won round number 4 by defuse. And since then, they have been missing. They've been on the milk cartons when they'd rather be drinking champagne.
I have to say, I really like the approach in this round. We see Zeus as the guy that goes first. It's very unexpected to see someone drop the Molotov to rush through, drop the smoke into the Molotov to rush through and basically create a rush timing. They sacrifice Zeus, which makes a lot of sense. And then they have a perfect pop flash for the players on Broken Wall, which completely opened up the site. That was actually a very, very cool round from Liquid and something you don't see done in that style all too often. So, yeah, that was beautiful. That was a really beautiful attack. Pop flashes. I'm loving the flashbang statistics we're getting out of HLTV as well.
Yeah,
that's actually really, really fun to see because it's a lot of work figuring out good flashes, and there is a big difference between players on how well they can and cannot use utility and teams in general. Shoutouts to HLTV.
Just the one flash now onto Flipside Tactics, and they better hope it's the best flash of all time. Although, to be honest with you, I think the odds are low that it will be that. I think the odds are low. Flipside are more or less spread out in a traditional fashion at present, not necessarily trying to make best use of what little they have with these 2 rifles. But Liquid are taking it slow. And again, beyond that one flashbang for Flipside, there aren't any smokes. There isn't really anything else to try and delay Liquid, apart from bodies, trying to sell a stack on one site when they're in fact going to the other. But now with 35 seconds left, Flipside are moving to stack the B bomb site. Unfortunately, they're making a mistake.
Yeah, this is heartbreaking, isn't it? I mean, this is not really a time for a round to go like this for them, and it is somewhat of a gamble, and this is the problem of playing Cobblestone. Sometimes you have to just take some gambles and just hope that you can be in a position which, you know, works for you. And you can see that they are just relegated to a save, and there's nothing they can do. And again, that's Cobblestone for you, and Liquid will move comfortably to the 14th round. And it's been a very tough half so far for Flipside. They've gained a victory in only a single round. And again, if we consider what that round was, that was a round where Liquid favorably took the A bomb site, favorably set up a 3v3 post plant, but still lost 3 individual 1v1s. That's kind of an extraordinary situation to lose in that way. So Flipside have not shown us that they have been able to win CT rounds with any degree of confidence or consistency so far.
Liquid slowly heading to round number 14, trying to take these rifles away as best they can, but well, that it is the princess in the tower.
That's actually kind of insane. He risked losing his gun there, James. They don't have the money to do that.
Yeah,
he's a slap on the wrist.
It is a foolish endeavor, considering your opponent is trying to find you to shoot you.
It doesn't care if he dies.
Don't really, yeah. Well, did it? Princess in the tower, then. And I was going to say, but there may be no Mario to save them. 9-14. Flipside now at maximum, oh no, not even, but next round they will be, should they not prove successful. But it may be too much money too late. Does that even make sense? Well, then does he re-aggress? He's got Blaze having a look, he can run distraction, but there are too many numbers now. Well, then misses the second shot. Blaze had his bell rung in the meantime, but he will land a kill. But what can he do? Nitro is around the corner very quickly indeed, and maybe Zeus being in-game leader is helping Nitro get into these positions. Well, then it has a shadow advantage on the low ground, but JDM's creeping on the high. There's flashbangs there as well. Force from his position. It's conceded now. If he goes back, he's surely dead.
Ooh, missing the Molotov as well. I wonder if that's an opportunity for a peek there from Flipside. Well, will try to get himself an angle as he looks to creep out the rat hole position through the fence. Now it's ELEAGUE. Finds a good timing onto Markelov. That is really painful to deal with. ELEAGUE is posing such threat, and again, Flipside just, they can't do anything. This has gone too poorly. They have to save what they have. Another round. This has just been such a, they're being just grinded down every round. And ELEAGUE is ruthless. The dogs have been sent out for the hunt, and it is just not a fair match, is it? Well, they're trying to survive here. Gets a leg, of course. That is so sad. However, that really is that really sums up the CT side of Flipside here. 15 rounds for Liquid, 1 away. Yanko is the only guy who predicted Flipside, James. He is the one who got 4 predictions yesterday. Everyone else got 5 or 6. He's not got off to a good start here today if Flipside do in fact lose.
That's why we didn't hire analysts, Dan. Because they're not needed.
Whoa, shots fired.
Match point for Liquid. Flipside, are you going to turn up to this game? It's a full squad versus just a goalkeeper, and he can't keep the ball out of the nets. The net may explode after this round. Well, the net towards long. It's pretty much always played that position post simple. Double AWPs now. Anders gets 1 round of joy.
Yeah, Markelov on the AWP. Someone call Anders. It's time to party. I'm sure the champagne's coming out already, but it may be short-lived.
Just want to add, like, well, that it can be found in other places as well, but I remember, like, this Flipside setup more or less from a very, very long time ago. Before people start tweeting me, you can be found him on B bomb site as well.
Markelov is going to be the anchor essentially with the AWP on that B bomb site. He's not going to have much assistance initially if the T side of Liquid rushes in right now. 2 members are sort of behind the drop zone in connector at the moment, and it's just Waylander. We saw him get destroyed by pop flashes in that position by Broken Wall previously. Markloff with the off angle there up the top of the stairs at the end of the plateau. There is a flash though, puts Markloff off the angle. That creates space for Team Liquid. Now Waylander's at big risk. Markloff can't really support him that well, but does find the headshot though. Good start from Markloff, but Waylander goes down.
Flipside slowly getting turned into burger meat at the moment. Can they hold on though? Can they escape the bat? 4 on 4. Markloff is still alive. Almost close to the most got. There are 8 seconds for the bomb to go down. JDM, he surely can't win this round. He's got to go for the kills. Spamming the P250, but the inbox is full, running out of bullets there. Doing what he can, but this won't be the round.
Awkward. Seemed like Liquid were a little bit too slow there, a little bit hesitant to just go in. Like, this position here is so perfect to just use that pop flash. Perhaps there was an issue with timing from the players who were trying to split from the drop zone. But yeah,
that first shot was nutty. The fact he doesn't take the bait of the bit of leg show, then comes back and delivers the kill. Nice stuff, but can it continue? The 2 AWPs continue, seized onto the MP7 now. Again, fast fire rate for the drop zone. Will it be enough? Maybe we'll see. Zeus is going to be harassing towards the plateau, throwing some grenades there, while this time Liquid have a focus on A.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Now Liquid, they know, okay, they're playing double ops. Well, we have strategies in our books, in our playbook, to address this situation, and so the element of surprise, Markloff may not be surprised for much longer, as JDM will get the trade onto World Edit, playing the A-long position, and now that's Liquid trying to quickly move up onto the A site, looking for the entry frags, looking to smoke the relevant choke points there to make their way in, but they are being slowed down by some good counter grenades, but ooh, that's a very big peek from JDM. The trade is in from Twist. Zeus in with a nice headshot too. This is not a good look here for Flipside.
Running out of people, running out of time, and it's down to Markloff to 1 versus 3 this. Everybody has passed the door, he's holding the angle, but nobody is going to serve themselves up. The flashbang gives his position away as the bomb gets planted, going for some desperation pre-fire. How does he not get traded? He has to go for this, he has to push, he has to win, he's got to win fast. He doesn't have a defuse kit, and ELEAGUE says no, the random fire will be punished at the end there, 16-10, and that second half was all Liquid.
Effectively winning just 2 rounds on that CT side. Flipside really starting to struggle there, and that's kind of what you expect on a Cobblestone. They're going to have a fantastic T side most of the time, but it didn't go well enough. They needed a bigger T side, and it was fun to see Liquid sort of stabilize there and return to some of the basics. And I loved some of the strats we saw out of them as well. That really fast play out of into B, where Zeus was really fast through, sacrificing himself, quick smoke onto the molly for a quick timing. I love those small things. Very simple, but very effective.
Yeah, that was a very good game for Liquid. It will fill them with confidence, and again, it's great to see Zeus running around smokes, trying to like people when the opportunity lends itself. So that is the first game out of the way. Thoughts of the desk after the break.